Well, Nick and I decided we're just gonna, every once in a while, just I don't know, ask each other questions. I'd mentioned in that promo video, Nick, probably more than anyone at corporate, you truly have the pulse of the agents, of where they're at, what they're experiencing, what successful agents are doing to be successful, and vice versa. And you obviously had some questions for me, so I just want to highlight I'm the mentor, and you changed it, so that's fantastic. This is a problem. You're no longer allowed to see the slides ahead of time.
I sat down and I said, I gotta check the
Heather,
slide.
we're gonna talk.
No, I heard you coming, and so the only thing I could change was I added Mike's life coach to the mentee portion.
All right, so
how do you find these pictures?
Facebook.
Okay.
I didn't have your headshot.
Okay. You have a folder of random photos of me on your computer, I see.
No, I went to your Facebook
I
page.
don't believe that's a deep
But I had
track.
to. I know, because and kudos to you. Pretty much every picture that you have on Facebook is you and your family.
Yeah.
Or other people.
Sure.
So
I also, Anyway.
yeah.
Okay.
Love
So
crop.
do you want to start or you want me to start?
Go ahead. Start.
All right. So one of the questions that I think would be important for agents to hear us chat about. There's a lot of white noise in our industry. There's a lot of white noise in the world. There's a lot of things that we tend to focus on, and I think Todd says it all the time. I've started to parrot it as well. What we focus on grows. And so what I wanted to ask was, what are agents focusing on right now that they shouldn't be?
What are they focusing on that they shouldn't
So
be?
it was kind of a two-part question. What are
Yeah.
they focusing on that they shouldn't be? And then what are they not focusing enough on, I guess, is the goal for this question.
Well, I think for me, it's going through the process of what works for them and what doesn't work for them. And so what I mean by that, if I'm going to work with a newer agent, we're going to start and say, hey, there's a gazillion different types of lead sources. It could be open houses, it could be door to door, it could be social media, it could be, networking. You identify them, and you need to try, 3 to 5 of them, spend some time. Then it goes back to calendar management or time management. Because I think what we spending our time on, what we shouldn't be doing is trying everything.
Sure.
and just all encompassing. And this title company says you need this. This title company says you need this. This lender says you need to do this. You, in a very quick, and it could be 12 months. You identify your lead sources, and then start tracking what works and what's not working, and then what's not working, or what is working, you start double downing on. Mm-hmm. Because we're just there's too many. You talked about the white noise. There's too many shiny objects out there, and then it goes back to then tracking your weeks. We spend so much time on the podcast talking about red time, green time. What are the things that you are doing? And the things that aren't making you money, you block off and you say, okay, this is how many hours a week I'm on red time, and this is how many hours a week I'm on green time. And if red time dominates green time, there's your problem. Mm-hmm. So you need to figure out how to increase your green time, but again, be more focused on those things that are working for you, or trying to determine what's working for you. Because, God, when I was young, Todd, it's just like every time there was something new, I was trying that something new. Every time some agent walked in and he was doing something and he was successful at it, then I had to go in, and it wasn't necessarily something that was going to work for me.
Just, Nick, another one that we can carry with us from this point forward is stop comparing our insides to other people's outsides.
Sure.
In other words, we always think everybody other than us has their stuff together. And when somebody's making money, we automatically think they're doing it to follow what they're doing because that'll work for us, and it doesn't. Always. Most of the time it won't.
And that's so, as a new licensee or someone who's struggling a little bit, what I'm hearing you say is, focusing on what works. I think a lot of times what agents don't understand is if they're not tracking what they're doing, mm-hmm. there's no way to determine what's working and what isn't. And so you had made that comment, going back, finding out what was the red time, what was the green time. If we are trying things, but we're not doing anything to track, write them down, analyze, we're wasting a lot of time and energy. And so go ahead.
Yeah, that process is simple. And I don't want to get into the weeds of CRMs, but every lead that goes into my CRM, it's assigned a lead source. So at the end of the year, I can see how many leads I got from open houses, how many leads I got from Luke Air Force Base, how many leads I got from that, and then I can determine, then how many closings and so forth. So, but you just start with, especially if you're brand new, you can just Google it, chat it, Gronk it, whatever the heck you want, or Claude it. I don't know. They're all so confusing to me. Give me a list of 50 popular lead sources for real estate agents. Okay, go through that list and you pick 3 to 5 that you think might be in your wheelhouse.
But I think not forgetting that sphere of influence should probably be pretty high on that list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So my turn. All right. I am a big, one of the things that irritates me the most on these real estate agent closed Facebook groups is experienced agents just talking crap and being incredibly mean and talking down to agents that are just getting into the business and trying to figure out. We were all new. We were all in that position. I mean, I made some big mistakes. Todd, I had a stolen hot tub in my backyard because of one of my first transactions.
Well, let's just say it disappeared and then was reappeared.
And so it drives me nuts, Nick, because I feel like if you are experienced and you have been successful, and if our industry has been good to you, I think we all have an obligation at some point to give back. So how important that is to you in corporate, or gratifying is it when you see experienced and successful agents give back to newer agents? And then what could experienced and seasoned agents do to give back?
I mean, that's the nature of growth and culture, right? I mean, I think one of the reasons why West USA is 40 years is because ownership, the Fouts family, the managers, the staff have all embodied in giving back to the agents. As our agents become more successful, seeing them turn around and put their hand out for the next agent coming up proud doesn't do enough justice, right? Like that's not a strong enough word. The coaching program that Clinton Todd developed years ago, and now having Claudia Ewan at the helm of it, it's one of the more important things that we do at the brokerage level. For an experienced agent to come to the realization that they're ready to turn around and start educating around them, it's an important thing. I think it's something that a lot of top producers are already doing without knowing it. Mm-hmm. They're just putting an official title on it when they say, I want to become a coach. What we see in at least our company, when an agent decides they want to train, coach, give back, their knowledge of real estate, it expounds so much faster than just going through a transaction. We talk about real estate theory all the time. We go back to the NAR changes and all the real estate theory we talked about. But until we got the forms, until we were able to put it into practice, you really didn't know what you were going to get into. And so new licensees being able to walk through a transaction with an agent, not just the new licensee learns, but that agent that's training learns too. And if we as an industry, and we as our company have better trained realtors from the beginning to all the way up, our company is better, our industry is better, and our value is so much easier to explain to the consumer. It's rising tides, right? Like everybody does better when we have more people giving back to those that are.
But it's also, it's not like you have to be all in. You don't have to
100%.
You don't have to be a coach or start a team to give back. It could be as simple as coming on our Monday morning podcast. Yeah. We're always looking for top producers to come and provide tips and advice. One of the things that I do is I do come across those newer agents during a transaction, and when the transaction's over, if they're open and they're willing, I'll have a conversation with them. Say, hey, just going to help you out. You could have probably done this a little better. You access the house 3 times without going through a line. No one's going to do anything here, but I'm going to let you know there are agents out there that'll ensure that you are financially punished for that.
All I'll say is if you're looking at the forums for advice, you're looking in the wrong place.
Sure.
If you really want to grow your business, it's not as difficult as you might think it is. Go to your coach, get your free market, business plan that they'll do for you that tells you exactly to hit your financial numbers. I mean, get this. Exactly what it takes for you to achieve what it is you're trying to do, and clear away all the other distractions once you learn those numbers. And then to Mike's earlier point, everything is about learning what works for you, not what works for somebody else. And the faster you can discover that, then the better, more successful you're going to be.
All right, I'm going to go again.
Hold on, I want to touch on one thing that you said. So when you started the conversation, coaching, yes, is I'm putting a title on being a coach, but we see people in our company getting away from the agent forums, the big ones, but on the closed groups and in the offices, they are giving back by answering questions, by helping with
Love it.
suggestions.
Yeah.
Good clarity.
It's
Thank
something
you.
that happens a lot inside of our company.
Correct.
Our culture has built that around our agents and those agents in the offices. So you may be giving back to the agents around you without having the official coach title, and that's what we want to continue to foster.
That's the culture. Yeah.
All right, if you could make struggling, we have agents that are new or struggling to figure out the market or whatever the case is. But if you could make a struggling agent do one thing, like if we were able to eliminate this independent contractor veil, and we could say, hey, yo, you're doing this and you have to do it, what would be that one thing?
Get into coaching, have a coach, have a mentor, have someone that has skin in the game on your transactions as you go through your first X amount until you are confident and comfortable with what you're doing and having confident conversations with consumers. I think that's every successful person has had someone helping them fast forward falling down. And I don't know what it is about our industry where it's somewhat seen as a negative thing to have a coach or a mentor. I've never really understood that. So that would be, that's the obvious answer. I think the better answer in the industry that we currently live in 2026 is having more real estate conversations, getting reps in, talking to not just potential clients and those you've transacted with, talking to your industry partners, talking to other agents, talking to entrepreneurs and professionals. What are they doing? What are they seeing? I've been very fortunate. When you started the conversation, Mikey, and talking about me having the pulse with our agents, the only reason I have that is because I've been given the opportunity to have conversations with our agents. I get to talk to them on the phone every single day, out in the offices every week, have conversations on the podcast. I'm learning from what they're telling me because I'm hearing what they're saying. And that, I think, is how we see success grow faster. If I can't force you into coaching, that's how you get more reps. That's how you get more confident. That's how you speak more eloquently to your potential clients.
What about you, Todd?
Well, I think that I think hiring a coach is not an entry-level thing. Hiring a coach is anytime you want to be better at what you do. And our coaches can help you no matter what level, production you may be at. On the other hand, I think you got to do, you said it, you got to put yourself where the consumers are, because people aren't successful because we don't have a steady stream of consumers. So I would say hold an open house every single day and don't go to the office. Learn how to hold a successful open house. Bring in Leslie and other people that know what they're doing to help you get better traction. But here's the thing. I know for a fact that any agent at West USA, any that is not performing and hasn't sold a home in a year, I bet you if we were to give you 3 people, one at a time, that you would be able to sell and probably successfully close that with no more knowledge than you currently have right now. And the issue is really just that you don't have another buyer to work on. Mm-hmm. And then you get demoralized because you see that everybody's telling you what to do, but you don't really, those aren't the activities you might want to do. Going back to, again, what am I good at? What am I not so good at?
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. I think it's either coaching or a team. Because the issue for most agents, I have found, is accountability. Highly successful agents are self-accountable. They don't need accountability, because what we do is we go and we might go to this Buck Wise event. We might get this Claude prompt from Amy, and we might go to this class, and we get all these things, and these are great. And we try it for 10 minutes and then lose interest, and we don't have that consistency with it. So when you have a coach or you have a team, there's that element of accountability. Again, let's find out let's determine what we're going to do, and let's stick to it. Like every Wednesday morning at our team meeting, we go through numbers. All right, how many real estate conversations did you have? Well, you said you were going to have this many this month. We're here. How many new contacts did you put into the CRM, and so forth? Rather than we just talk about it once a year.
Yeah.
So I agree
mean,
with you.
accountability partners are another big one.
Mm-hmm.
Teams in my opinion, coaches are similar. They're going to provide you a level of accountability, level of mentorship, and hand-holding you through those processes. Really quickly, I'm getting screamed at in the chat by one of our brokers. She's writing in all caps, so I feel like if I don't read Claudia's comment, and if I've mentioned her a couple times, I feel like I owe it to her. So Claudia is saying, learn how you sell. Who are you develops your selling techniques, which I think is a very good statement. I agree with her 100%, and that's why she's one of our managing brokers and the director of coaching. Thank you, Claudia, for that. Also, could you please stop yelling at me in the chat? I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, so
Nick's got a very low self-esteem, so let's take it easy on him.
I don't like getting yelled at.
But you're so good at getting yelled at.
Well, I've got a lot of practice from you. Thanks, buddy. So, we kind of just touched on it, but I'm gonna ask the question officially now here. What patterns do you see among agents who are doing well? I wrote down this market, but I think it's in all markets.
So say that again?
What patterns do you see in agents that do well in all markets?
I think the key word is consistency. And whatever they have determined works in their business model, they are consistent. Typically, a successful agent understands that after they hand the buyer the keys to their house, that they're not going to assume that buyer is going to remember them. So they will typically have a very consistent follow-up plan. And on all those, I call it ATCs, after the close. They all look different. Mine looks different from most other agents, but we have them. We always joke, Nick, about like the common regret that a top producing agent has that's been in the market for decades is one, they never embraced a CRM, or in my day when I started, there were no CRMs, but they have very highly functioning Excel spreadsheet systems in place. They have something. The CRM is just going to make what you would do in Excel a little more automated. And so they understand that data is the most valuable commodity that we have in this industry. People's names, phone numbers, email addresses. But if you collect them and don't input them anywhere and don't do anything with them, then, and then the last one, we talked about it. It's just time management. I mean, there are things I got to be careful how I say this, but there are things that go on at the offices that you're not going to see the top producers at because they're out selling. They're focusing on their green time.
Well, I think those opportunities are for those agents that need to get reps in for their business that might not be at that level yet. So I mean, that's what some of those situations are set up to do. But yeah, I 100%. So I wrote down notes of this question, knowing I was going to ask you it. And mine are, we've already touched on it, but consistency, communication, follow up, follow through. And the one thing that I didn't hear you say that I don't hear a lot of people talk about is leveraging the brokerage. A lot of our top producers are leveraging the systems and the things that we have in play, and maybe not them personally, but their team is. You guys require agents to go through different trainings that we provide in the company. There's the CRMs that we've partnered with. There's a lot of benefit to being at a 40-year-old brokerage, not just in name recognition, which is fairly high, but in all the partnerships that we've been able to develop with outside vendors and other companies. That's a thing that we're seeing more and more of our team leaders and some of our top producers leveraging is West USA.
Well,
go ahead, Todd.
Sorry, Mike. Let me just say this about that. You get the economy of scale purchasing power of West USA, and because we're not a split shop, We are not interested in making the services that we offer to the agents a profit center. Yeah. If you go to a lot of these other companies, I mean, not only are they charging you a high split, but they're also making money off for you joining these programs. And so that's one of the things that I've always felt that our company did exceptionally well. Was we're not in your pocket. If we can negotiate a deal for a lower price, you're going to get that price. There's no in it for us.
Yeah, there's a brokerage out there that will go unnamed. It's always bothered me over the years because I will talk to agents that interview them, and that agent will say, "Hey, I'm looking at West USA, might be looking at another brokerage, and so forth," and they'll always say it's just in a generic term. You don't ever want to go to a 100% company because they don't offer anything, and they can't even compare to our offerings. Well, I've done the homework and I've done the math and I've done the research. I am telling you, West USA offers a lot more than they do, and West USA doesn't make as much money off of your back than they do, and so there is a tremendous amount of, if you're not aware of what we offer, and if you've never attended a Monday morning orientation, we do it the first Monday of every month. Talk to your office managers. I love our technology. I love my iFound agent website. I love my mobile app. I actually use them to generate leads and to generate business. But I'll say this, the last thing I'll say about this is I say at every orientation, I will put our broker team up against any broker team in the nation. They are, if you do not call the broker and ask a question, and then you make a mistake because you don't want to bother the broker or you think it's a dumb question, then that's a you problem. Mm-hmm. It's 100% a you problem. Our brokers have made it very clear that that's why they're here. They're here. And I know they talk about me in their little 4 broker powwows and stuff because of the crazy. But I call a broker 1 to 2 times a week, either because I'm not sure how to do something, I forgot how to do something, or I'm pretty confident I'm right, but I just want to verify it. So I just leverage the broker team. If anything else, leverage the broker team.
Well, you and I have been doing this for a long time, so I knew you were going to set me up. The leveraging of West USA is way more than any technology offering that we have. It's the people that makes this company. So I knew you were going to bring up our brokers because you do a really good job with that. If you're not leveraging...
Do you think they'll forgive me for what I did during the 3-pack?
No, I made sure they didn't.
Okay.
We've got... on top of having the best brokerages in the industry, which, again, I don't think people understand how big of a deal that is. And I'm not trying to make a commercial for West USA here. I'm truly trying to just beg our agents to get more involved with our branch staff and our brokers. Our branch managers and our office assistants and assistant managers are amazing, and they want to help you with what you've got going on. And if you're not leveraging them and their knowledge and their expertise, when they can do to help you, you're missing out on a lot of support that you should be getting.
Well, going back to if you're struggling, and I would say struggling is
relative to you.
It is, but are you hitting the goals that you want to hit?
Right.
And if you're not hitting those goals, and they're realistic goals, I could just wake up and say, hey, I want to do 100 transactions this year. Okay, I know my family life, my time balance, and I'm not going to do that. But if you set a realistic goal, and you're not meeting it, and maybe struggling is not the best term for it, but if you are in that camp and you're not coming to the office every day, and I agree with you, Todd. I mean, I'd rather have you at an open house. Sure. But if you're not hitting your numbers and you're still just sitting at home every day trying to figure this out, I'm telling you, I have such great relationships with agents around this office because we stop in the hall, we talk. I love the Valley Home Group because we'll get into it. Like we'll really talk about some stuff, and we got some great agents here. And if you're not sure, there's top producers that come in, talk to them, ask questions, sit down with your office manager and say, hey, what am I missing? What is something that West USA offers that I'm not I'm not taken advantage of.
It's scary, but it's definitely something that you need to start with, and you need to. Struggling is the correct word. If you're not hitting your numbers, you're struggling. You're not where you want to be, and that's okay. We've all been there. Remembering that we've all been new once, being okay with that, pushing into it is important. That's how you grow.
Yeah, this was one of the biggest negative byproducts for our industry as a result of COVID. We weren't allowed in the office, and so I maintain that isolation will break
100%.
your business. All right, Nick. We've been here. You've been, I think, at West USA a year longer than me. We've
14
seen,
years this month.
and then I guess 13 maybe for me. Then I don't know. We've seen real estate evolve. But what do you think agents should do to prepare for the near future? I think that one thing that you guys are very aware of, you're doing the research, you're doing the homework. You guys read stuff and hear stuff that we don't, because we're just out doing our thing, and we depend on the West USA to provide that information.
That's a big question. So we did our Kinbara event last week. We had our Zillow rep and a few other people from Zillow at the office at the party. We met with them before they go around and meet with national companies. I got pulled aside while we were at the event, and the comment was made. They were overly impressed by how approachable the West USA executives are to the agents. Watching our CEO, watching Todd, watching myself walk through and get grabbed by multiple agents. We remembered their names. We had, an anecdote, a story about, working with them. That was pretty awe-inspiring to them. They don't see that a lot at the brokerages they work with. So I thought that was pretty nice to hear. And so they asked the question, what are you guys doing? What's the goal for the next few months to get through 2026? And honestly, my response was keeping agents safe. We're really leaning into what can an agent do to protect themselves from everything happening around our industry. There is a lot of litigation. There's a lot of scammers. There's a lot of hackers. I'm going to be at the office the next 2 weeks talking about cybersecurity, best practices, what's happening, how to keep yourself protected, and what happens if you do get hit. We've created a full website to protect our agents from the TCPA laws. That's going to roll out here in a couple of weeks. We've seen higher settlements on TCPA lawsuits than we did during the NAR settlement.
Well,
so
everybody's going to ask,
do
what's
not
that?
call list, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. Do not call, do not text. If you're not running those numbers through the list, there are people training consumers how to sue you if you're not paying attention to this stuff. And we understand you're not. You're out selling real estate. And that's why I love West USA. We work really hard to be able to allow our agents to focus on what you should be focusing on, your buyers and sellers, your sphere of influence. Let us focus on the other things. But what we need you to do is listen when we come out and we have these conversations and we send the emails. So the IDNC website's coming out here in a few weeks. And then Todd made the comment, we built a website that we haven't rolled out yet because we wanted to make it as simple as possible for agents to be able to simply figure out their numbers. What does their business plan look like? We are an industry of entrepreneurs and independent contractors, and a lot of agents, not just West USA, but across our industry, don't treat their business like it's their business. They treat it like it's a job. And if you don't know what your business plan should be, if you don't have a pin on what you want to make and what your outgo is and what your income is, if you don't know what those numbers are, you're running around in the dark and you're going to hit the wall. So we have a business plan website that's going to roll out, we hope, by the end of the summer. It's one of the most impressive Excel spreadsheets I've ever seen a human make, because Todd made this thing like 10 years ago. And we've been dialing it in, and now we will have a very easy-to-use website to just get back to the basics. We don't chase the shiny stuff. We don't run around. We're not a part of the M&A. We sit in our brokerage and we watch the industry tornado and swirl around and buy other brokerages and chase the AI and chase the shiny. And year after year, the numbers come out. And West USA's agents are the most productive, and they're killing it in the industry. And we got 3,000 agents just in Arizona, and we're doing okay.
I'm going to do a podcast called Action right now. And I don't think we've done this, but here's the thing. Nick's going out to the meetings. What he's got to share, you're going to be super surprised at, because you're thinking you're doing the right thing, and he's going to show you how to protect yourself. But I'm saying this. If you're one of the agents who isn't plugging in and participating, but maybe you listen to the podcast, I'm going to challenge you to go to that meeting and listen to Nick and go to Nick and say, hey, I'm one of those people Todd was talking about that hasn't been plugging in because I feel ashamed, I feel bashful, I feel intimidated, I feel that there's too many obstacles, I'm not doing anything, I'm looking for another job. Whatever that reason is, you still don't think you don't matter to West USA. We want to help you become successful if this is the area you want to be successful in. So I'm just going to do a podcast call to everybody that's out there and say, please engage, even if it's just popping in to see the office manager and saying, but go right in and say, hey, I'm never here. You know that. Help me.
All right. Well, I would just challenge everybody too. If you want some good practice at having real estate conversations, you mentioned about the do not call list and the spammers. Every time you get a spam call, try selling them real estate. Just try to flip it.
A lot of people are in sales do that.
All right. I'll leave everybody with the quote today. Good job, guys. Appreciate it. How you sell is more important than what you sell. Go out and sell a home.